YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. It's me again, Mr. Wade, your host. Wait a minute, POV. Thank y'all for coming back and chilling with me. We got some more videos for you today. No Diddy and all of that crap. Just things that's going on in this world. So, but remember, these videos are for entertainment and educational purposes only. So, without further ado, let's get right into it.
Construction workers who are presumed dead after the Baltimore bridge collapse have been identified. 49-year-old Miguel Luna and 37-year-old Maynor Suazo were working overnight on the Francis Scott Key Bridge when the Dali cargo ship lost power and crashed, causing it to fall. Now, all 6 workers who had been filling potholes on the bridge are presumed dead, including Luna, a father of 6, and Suazo, a father of 2. None of their bodies have been recovered.
The Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore collapsed. Here's how the events unfolded. Maryland Governor Wes Moore said a cargo ship from Singapore called the Dali made a mayday call when their power went out and they lost control of their vessel. They told authorities a collision was possible, and emergency personnel raced to the scene to stop further traffic from driving onto the bridge.
I need one of you guys on the south side, one of you guys on the north side, hold all traffic on the Key Bridge. There's a ship approaching that just lost their steering. So until you get that under control, we got to stop all traffic.
Construction workers were on the bridge at the time, pouring concrete.
There's a crew up there. We might want to notify whoever the foreman is, see if we can get them off the bridge temporarily.
Video shows the ship's lights go off, then on again, then off again just before the ship hits the column. And at 1:30 a.m., it hits, causing people on the bridge to plummet into the river below.
213 dispatch, the whole bridge just fell down. Start, whoever, everybody. The whole bridge just collapsed.
It is crazy, dude.
As of Tuesday morning, authorities said 2 of the construction workers had been rescued from the water, but 6 were still unaccounted for. And there are 22 crew members aboard the ship, including 2 pilots, all of them Indian nationals and all of them uninjured. A state of emergency has been declared and an investigation is now underway. Around noon, President Biden said the federal government would pay for repairs. When asked whether the ship should be held responsible for those financial costs, he responded,
"That should be, but we're not going to wait for that to happen. We're going to pay for it to get the bridge rebuilt and open."
Let me be that dude, the retired Coastie, to tell you, ain't no way, boy, ain't no way that no tanker ship is gonna crash into no bridge at night by mistake. Question to all my Coasties out there, where the pilot boat at? And where the tugboats at? And where's the horn, the warning, the crash warning before it hits? I ain't hear no warning. I ain't hear no nothing. I'ma leave that with y'all. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. And it's a couple days after that Russia attack. Don't let that go over your head, my people.
First of all, I want to send my condolences and my prayers out to the people who lost their lives and that. And I know I'm a little late posting this, but things happen. But yeah, man, I hope that their families, just like can get over this. You know what I mean? It's just hard. You know what I'm saying? Because like that person I think he had 6 kids, and the other one had 2 or maybe 4. Like, man, that's crazy. It's deep, you know what I'm saying? But I smell larceny, my dude. I had to look at all type of videos and all that stuff. And why was that cat out there at what time of the morning they said it was? I can't remember, but he was out there and just randomly filming, at that time. We're not talking about the cameras that set up around there. We're talking about the dude You know, the one who was cussing and everything, and they bleeped it out. Yeah. Why was he out there just filming? Tell me. Yeah. And then you saw, yeah, y'all already saw it. For people who know, you know. It's sad though. But let's move on to the next.
One here locally for Cleveland. One of them is happening at the 480 bridge. Let's start here locally. Live picture out of Valley View here. We've got something flapping in front of the camera, excuse us, but you can see major piles of mulch there now that the daylight is up. There's a landscaping company located down there underneath the Valley View Bridge, and one of those piles of mulch caught fire at about 4:30 this morning, and it was a massive blaze. We've got video from earlier this morning when the blaze was very visible and sending smoke up and over the bridge. This was again early this morning. Fire started about 4:30. Now the issue here is where this camera is positioned is on the south side of the bridge. You can see the wind is blowing that smoke and fire toward the north. If you are anywhere near downtown, anywhere between Valley View and downtown, you have surely smelled it's almost like takes us back to the Canada wildfires and the amount of smoke that's in downtown. Our office obviously located in downtown. We can smell it inside our office. So many of you arriving to work this morning saying, what is going on? What am I smelling? It is, in fact, this mulch fire. Again, here is a live picture out of Valley View. Still an immense amount of smoke coming off of those piles. But that's going to happen when you have a burnable material like mulch. And again, you can see, if you look closer, you can see just above the word breaking news there on the left side, that's an excavator. That is a very big piece of equipment, and it is dwarfed by the size of the pile of mulch next to it, that big, what looks like a dirt pile, that brown pile. And so to have one of those go up in flames is a major issue. There have been no closures on the 480 bridge at any point today. The good news, this fire is a slight distance away from any of the beams that hold up the support. There has not been any issue with that. You can.
So, 2 bridges. Hey, the other one didn't really do nothing, but I mean, they was trying, right? So, yeah. And the other one just like I said, broke apart like Legos. I don't even get this, man. And if you watch the videos and go back to it and how it's slow motion, man. Yeah, man. And then, oh yeah, now they're talking about the Washington Bridge now too. Yeah, that's supposed to be falling apart now. So all these major bridges that connect, you know what I'm saying? So everybody gonna be trapped in one spot. They can't go with each other. You see what they doing? But I don't even know what I'm talking about. You know, this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. So we just joking on here, right? Right. Let's move on to the next.
Live box that we have been showing you. It is happening right now. 19's Noelle Williams. She is actually live there. We see the flames, the smoke behind you, Noelle. What else can you tell us?
Well, this fire and flames are massive. Take a look at the damage. This fire is under the Valley View Bridge. Here's what we know so far is that this started around 4:30 this morning. There are several fire departments on scene working to tame these flames. Thankfully, there are no injuries and no road closures. Right now, we are in Garfield Heights. Take another look at this fire. This has been going on again for at least an hour and a half since 4:30 this morning. Several fire departments are there at the scene. If you take a look at the flashing lights. Now, here are what the conditions are like right now. It is cold, it is rainy, and it is windy, so I'm sure these conditions are contributing to how firefighters are working to tame these flames. Again, this fire started around 4:30 this morning under the Valley View Bridge. 19 News will be out here all morning monitoring how fire crews are working.
Texas is about to go to war with the U.S. The Texas border is now a place full of chaos and tension. As immigrants from South America attempt to get into the U.S., they are getting violently stopped by the Texas Guard and a 7-foot barbed wire. Joe Biden has threatened Texas to take the wire down, but they refused. This is literally how civil wars start. But what does this mean for us? The Texas border is going completely nuts. In a drastic measure, Texas has erected a massive 7-foot-high barbed wire fence. Joe Biden has expressed strong disapproval of Texas's actions, particularly the barbed wire barrier. His demand to Texas remove the wire within 24 hours. However, Texas stands defiant, refusing to comply. The situation has escalated to the point where even Oklahoma is deploying troops to support Texas. Do you think we will enter a civil war?
That Texas border crisis and everything, it's real crazy though. But you know, that shit is going on all around the country, man. Like, and it's crazy, but Texas got it bad. And then once the presidential election is over or whatever, and the eclipse and all of it, I don't know. I can't call it. Like I said, I'm just a dude in front of a camera speaking. You know what I'm saying? And that shit right there, they gonna start, pow powing. Yep, especially if Trump win. You know what I'm saying? Because he going against Biden. He's so slow and all. Yeah, man, it's getting ugly. But we're going to move on to the next.
Can now on their own arrest people who they suspect are migrants here illegally, regardless of federal law, and even send them to Mexico. The Supreme Court's conservative majority granting Texas that green light for now to enforce its controversial immigration law. In a 6-3 order, the High Court rejected a request by the Biden administration to intervene and place the law, SB 4 as it's called, on hold while it is challenged in the lower courts. The Biden administration argues the Texas law is an infringement on the federal government's exclusive authority over immigration law, a power grounded in the Constitution and affirmed by the Supreme Court. Tonight, Texas Governor Greg Abbott called the court's order a, quote, clearly positive development. But in a concurring opinion, conservative justices Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh made clear that this is not the last word. They want the lower appeals court to render its judgment first on SB 4, and then the Supreme Court can review that. But in a scathing dissent joined by Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, Justice Sonia Sotomayor warned that the court's order invites further chaos and crisis in immigration enforcement. Sotomayor adding, this law will disrupt sensitive foreign relations, frustrate the protection of individuals fleeing persecution, and deter non-citizens from reporting abuse or trafficking. The ruling comes as federal migrant apprehensions across the southwest border reached an average of 4,200 daily, a sharp decline from the peak of nearly 11,000 in a single day back in December.
County Sheriff's Office arrested these 3 men. Spokesperson for the Sheriff's Office says all 3 are undocumented immigrants from Guatemala. They face various charges, but the Sheriff's Office says they forced a woman into a car, then committed sexual battery on her at 2 different locations before the woman escaped, then flagged a passerby nearby for help.
Sounds awful, and I hope she's okay, and that sounds scary. It's definitely not the norm here.
I didn't hear anything. No sirens, no screams, no nothing.
Lauren Thiessen says she never worries about her kids playing outside. She says she's now concerned.
I have children. I have a younger daughter myself, by myself, going for walks. It's just
Andre Felipe Morales was cited in January for not having a driver's license. The citation was noel prosse, meaning the state attorney abandoned the charges. Records show the state agreed to abandon prosecution if the defendant provided or showed proof of paying $100 and obtaining a driver's license. We reached out to the state attorney's office past 9 p.m. tonight about how it's possible for him to obtain a driver's license if he's undocumented, like the sheriff's office says. Spokesperson told us he'd help us when the office reopens in the morning and he can get a good look at the full case.
All we hear when they arresting all these people is drugs, fentanyl, you know what I'm saying, sexual assaults, you know how it go, man. And then it's like everybody getting raped and trafficked, and you know what I'm saying? Like, this is getting out of hand. So, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what we're going to do. I know a lot of people are just like, we're gonna kill everybody. Just go, guys, get our guns. We're gonna go out here. We're gonna make sure that we protect our country. Man, it's hell of them. So, what we gotta do is pray. You know what I'm saying? God help us all, because it's finna get ugly. Let's move.
Venezuelan migrant with 500,000 followers on TikTok who is telling border crossers they can live in empty houses in this country.
Una casa en United States.
In his most recent controversial TikTok video, Moreno is telling his followers to avoid living on the streets in the United States. They can, quote, invade empty homes and live there, saying under U.S. law, if a house is uninhabited, it can be seized, referring to squatting rights in our country. That video garnered almost 4 million views. In past videos, the illegal migrant bragged that he came to the United States to vacation and now lives off U.S. taxpayers because he had a child in this country. He also tells his followers that he waits for Americans' hard-earned pension checks to come in every month. In another video, he is urging fellow Venezuelans to pay the fines of a 15-year-old migrant who allegedly shot a tourist in Times Square, saying, quote, today it could be him, tomorrow it could be one of you.
Excuse my French, but this nigga right here, boy, he pumped up way too much, though. I mean, he got 500,000 followers on. I heard that they shut down his Instagram or TikTok or whatever he was on. I heard they shut that down because he was doing too much. And yeah, I think these people think that certain people won't, off them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's people out there that's really about that life, man. That's what I'm saying. Yo, you talking about you in the country doing all of that stuff, though. Yeah, you smart. Because people about that life, man. And the country, I don't know, though. Because, you can get snuffed and dumped and buried out there. Nobody will be able to find you because, what? Who are you? Some illegal person who just out here, right? Right. But let's move on.
This man who entered the United States illegally is facing murder charges in Michigan after the death and carjacking of a 25-year-old woman he was dating. Police say Brandon Ortiz Vite used a handgun he bought illegally to shoot Ruby Garcia multiple times on Friday before leaving her body on the freeway and driving off in her car. Federal officials say he is from Mexico and was deported from the U.S. back in 2020, but returned. Emily Finn is in Grand Rapids with more for us this morning. Emily, just an awful story, and he confessed that he committed the crime.
Yes, Marky, this is just an absolutely heartbreaking story for the Grand Rapids community. Police did confirm that Ruby Garcia was in a romantic relationship with Brandon Ortiz Vite, calling her death a domestic violence homicide. We're outside of the Kent County Jail where he's being housed right now. He's facing 5 felony charges, including murder and carjacking. He admitted to illegally purchasing the gun that he used to kill Garcia and confessed to shooting her in her car multiple times following an argument and then leaving her body on the side of the road.
This is another case of a domestic violence homicide that we've seen, quite frankly, far too often. And if you look at domestic violence, which is a domestic violence case, there is that circle of violence and control. And one of the things this control is, okay, now you've got this immigration status and what pressure that puts on the victims.
And as you mentioned, Marky, authorities confirm Vite has been living in the U.S. illegally. He's had several run-ins with the law dating all the way back to 2017, was deported in 2020 following a drunk driving arrest, but it's not known when he returned to the U.S. Garcia's family and friends are remembering Ruby as being full of life and laughter. A GoFundMe page has already raised more than $16,000 for her funeral.
It's nerve-wracking. I'm not sure why they would do that to my sister. Like I said, she was a very good person. I just wish she never went out that night. She didn't hurt nobody. She never tried to hurt nobody's feelings either. Don't understand. I guess it was just God's plan,
Something smells a little fishy about that story, don't you think? Like, just a tiny bit, though. You see how, like, if a grief-stricken person that's like that, like, I know people grieve differently, but, man, come on, man. Like, for real. And, that it's just sad that, she was murdered over what? Nothing? And it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? Domestic violence. I pray for her and her family, you know what I'm saying? Because it's trifling. And then, like, another illegal, like, it's crazy out here. It's crazy out here. We got to watch ourselves because nobody cares. Nobody else gonna watch out for us but God. You know what I'm saying? So this has been the episode of Wait a Minute POV. I am your host, Mr. Wade. Thank y'all for coming back and chilling with me. I'm gonna see y'all on the next episode. Yee!
I only know